Just taking a hot minute and getting all of the text set. Okay. I trust everyone is doing awesome. Let me know how you all are doing. So, new day, new life topic. It's Margot Mastery, your heartfelt CFO, and I am excited to talk to you today about our weekly topic. Every week I come on and I share around different topics that have been happening with our clients and in the surroundings. And a hot topic is around building a resilient business that withstands any storm. And I was actually just on a internal call, and one of my teammates asked me how I overcame something that was really, really profound, that talks about this uh, in every way. So a few years ago, I had a client who was unhappy with the process of the services. It's not that he was unhappy with services, he was unhappy with the process. And what he did was is that he did a chargeback. And with this chargeback, what happened was he um, uh, he ended up getting double paid, because when I got paid for him, uh, I got paid in full instead of on the payment plan. So it was a quirk within the process of the server, of the processing server. And what happened was this client got double paid. And he actually won with the credit card company. And everybody is like, how did he win? And all of these things. And he ended up winning, and Margot ended up losing. And it really not only hurt myself, it hurt my children and my team, because um, basically I was paying, even though it was like double, it was almost like three times everything, because I had to pay like the current bills, the past of what was happening, and then the bills that I paid out. So there's all these sorts of buckets. And um, I just had surgery. And some of you may be like, oh, didn't you just have surgery recently? The past few years, I happen to have quite a few health circumstances. And with each health circumstance, it happens to be where something happened where I had to overcome some type of money issue. And actually, this one I actually didn't, but in a different way. But anyways, so back to the story. So my teammate was like, Margot, so what happened? If they took most of the money, how did you take care of everything? So I was forced to pay for everything personally and take from personal savings, so that I can cover the bills that I was currently in, take care of my team. And some of the things was not timely because I had to make things work and get everything covered. And the loss was just a pile of it too. And there was all these things at me where you're kind of like, you want to process the loss, and at the same time these things are happening. Now I know a lot of us, lots of times we don't want to talk about these things of client chargebacks. And it's really, really important to talk about it, because what happens is that if you sign an agreement with somebody, you're bound to that agreement. Now, it could be that somebody didn't take you to court, it could be like these types of things, but you're bound to that agreement. Now, lots of times, sometimes people don't go after us and whatnot. For this person, what ended up happening was is that it ended up getting into a lot of lines of where I had to go and take care of it at the higher way, and we're actually still in court. And I think it's like 3 years later. In any event, the importance to this is that the business still continued, because I had a place to go to pay the bills so that business could continue. And it did take me many moons to get over it. It wasn't a hop, skip, and a jump. And business isn't linear. If you were to get over something in business quickly, everybody would do it. But entrepreneurship is not for everybody. That's why people say this line all the time is like, hey, I'm just going to go back to my W 2 job or just find a W 2 job so I could get paid and be done. So when I had to pay this money, it hurt in different ways because the intention of the money was for something else. It wasn't for this purpose. However, my life didn't necessarily sacrifice because I had a cash flow to cover it. So what the turning point of is that after making it through, barely making it through something, I was able to see over the hump so that I can continue business and not just shut doors. When you believe in your purpose, you'll do anything to be able to stay alive. And also, it's not even just stay alive, it's also that paying out your agreements that you're rightfully due for. Now, it could have been, I could have told people like, hey, like this person stole from me and these different things, but you want to be able to, in a resilient way, to be able to have a backup situation of cash flow so that if it happened. Now, how do you do this? Now, you can also there's a few different ways that we can talk about this, building your own resilient cash flow so that your business can withstand any storm and really start it as early as today. You know how lots of times we go on and we're like, oh, we saved $10 on the shipping. Oh, we saved $20 and these different things. So take that savings as a bill and then put it away, which is exactly what I did. And little bits over time accrue. So let's say it's $25 to $50 a week where you're finding savings, but then intentionally you save like $500 a week or $500 a month. Very quickly, this starts to add up, and then you start to have a place to go if things happen. Now, to start that muscle is work in itself because having cash that you don't touch is the game, and being able to not have a place for it to go. I'm working with one of my mental health clients, and one of the consistent things that is hard for her is that the business makes a lot of money, but there's always a place to go with the cash that's made. And what she always talks about is just this kind of like, I feel like it's accounted for before we even make it. So that's the thing there is that moderating spending so that you can not have a place to go for things and actually have a different intention for where your money should go. So let me say that again. Instead of always spending more and what you're wishing for, that's where you want your energy to go, is where to put the money towards. So it could be you want to increase Google Ads, or you want to increase working with this thing or that thing. And maybe what you're doing could work better with increasing it, but it's still working if you did a little bit more, where you can take those savings and add in. My dad, when he was small, he would tell me this when he was buying small, when he was buying his first house. He was telling me how he even took like money from his piggy bank, and he cashed it into the bank so that he could buy money. He could change it into real dollars and buy the house. And my grandmother had this line of kind of like a little bit goes a long way, or every little tidbit builds on it, something like that. I forgot this sign. But when you make that decision within, there's so much more that you could do. And what I want to say is that clients come and go. Clients sometimes also that, not the right ones, they cause problems. The insurance takes back the money. There's timing issues. There's no time like the present to start. Now, there's not even a way that like you need to do this with like the perfect bucket system and all of this. Like just literally open up an account and just put a little bit each week or each day, depending on how often you get paid. I have some clients that get paid every day. I have some clients that get paid weekly, whatever it is, but just decide and do it. Like I have this amount that every time I get a deposit, I put something towards an account so that if something happens, there's always a place to go for a little bit extra of money, so that there's always there's no shortage. But what I will say is that before I did this, of having a place to go for savings, what used to happen was I used to feel bad that I couldn't do things, or I used to think it was for everyone else and not myself. And the second I started to create what other people had for myself, no matter where it was, and comparing myself from yesterday to today, a whole heap of things changed for me that I was able to accomplish. Now, dialing this forward, I did recently this time also have a different type of surgery. And the same thing is that I needed to have a certain amount of expenses so that I could recover, my business could continue, and I was able to do that. I planned ahead and I was able to do that and fully recover and now be in a really good spot around recovery and a whole heap more. So lots of times we're trying to have paid days off. We're aiming towards things. So if your paid day off, let's say, is $1,000 or $500, whatever it is, just start with a goal and aim towards that, because you could always aim higher and you could always do more. But the more energy you put towards that attention of that goal, the better that goal will come out and that you will be able to actually accomplish that goal. If you're in it 100%, it's going to happen. If you have 100% intention towards it and strength towards it, it's going to happen. But if you're like half-ass in it, where you're not really thinking about it, but you want it and things of that nature, then it's going to come out half-ass and things of that nature. So just to sum this is that start small, but stay consistent. You want to reallocate windfalls. You want to possibly even review subscriptions that you have that you may not need. Like I'm seeing a bunch of things on my subscriptions, and like today alone, it was like $120 of subscriptions that we don't need, that I'm looking to get out of, and it adds up, right? But it's also, sometimes it's not only the money, it's just accumulating clutter. And another thing is that use a profit first mindset. So treat savings like a bill. And then the last thing is that break into milestones. So you want 1 to 3 months of expenses, maybe start with 1 month of expenses, right? So if your 1 month of expenses is, let's say, is like $1,000, back into that divided by 4 weeks, and that's what you need to save for every week. Always take the goal and break it down from there. So I hope you enjoyed the stories today and basically the back end method to building a way to your withstanding resilience. Now, to close this as a bonus, if you're out there, the biggest thing is looking for clients. When you are in touch with your ideal client and you know what their fears, pains, and desires are, and you lead from help, you will never lose in business. You will always be able to build relationship with clients when you understand them from fears, pains, and desires, and lead from help. It's never about us. It's about what fears, pains, and desires that they want, and then us as professionals can take them through. So be in touch with your ideal client in terms of business development, and always make sure that you lead from help, that even if they say no, and sometimes clients are mean. I have a client right now. She's really mean during emails, and it's just she's going through a hard time. And sometimes I take it personal. Like, don't get me wrong, but we're sensitive and we're human too, right? So lead with help. Always have compassion, and things will always be. And I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And as always, any questions, let me know. And I look forward to seeing you and talking to you more.